Jakub Parasynski is the managing partner of Jnomics Media Consultancy, which works with publishers, media product, and financing organizations in 30+ countries on digital strategy, revenue model development, and organizational transformation. He was a journalist for 5 years at publications such as the Financial Times and The Economist, and he was the CEO of the Kiev Post in Ukraine. And he'll be joining us today to moderate our session on the shape that membership is taking in Ukraine. Thank you, Jakub. I'll let you take it from here.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ariel. Hi, everybody. My name is Jakub Parasynski, and yes, amongst the many hats that I wear, one of them is being an editor at The Fix, which is a media about the European media landscape, and especially such undercovered regions like Ukraine. Ukraine is a place where media matters. So the country is somewhat of a geopolitical battlefield, and many oligarchs in the country use media as a political resource. I personally had the chance to see this while working as a CEO of the Kiev Post. Back then, we were the first Ukrainian media to launch a paywall. It was many years before anyone decided to follow in our suit. But I think this session is incredibly timely because the last couple of years have been incredibly exciting in terms of membership and and reader revenue. And I'm really happy to introduce some fantastic guests speakers who are ready to talk about the current situation. So Sefil Musaeva is a Ukrainian journalist from Crimea. She's a Nieman Fellow, class of 2019 at Harvard University. She is currently serving as editor-in-chief of Ukrainska Pravda, which is the newspaper of record in Ukraine, as well as a umbrella sort of brand for a group of sister websites which cover areas like the economy, political history, culture, etc. Sefil has started her career as a journalist for 5 years, covering being a business reporter and covering lots of corruption in the oil and gas industry, oligarch-related investigations, and worked in many major publications, including Forbes Ukraine. Sefil is also an active charity worker. She was involved in many projects and events, including initiating a project that was aimed at providing those affected by the political crisis in Crimea with trustworthy information and assisting them with matters of safety and resettlement. We're also being joined by Andrei Yanitsky from the Kiev School of Economics. Andrei is a former journalist and editor with over 15 years of experience working in Ukrainian media. He is a former chair of the Kiev Independent Media Trade Union and the author of the chapter on Ukraine's media at medialandscapes.org, which is the European Journalism Center project. He currently heads the Center of Journalism at the Kiev School of Economics. And Andrei, if I may make a little bit of a groundbreaking announcement, you also have a report coming out on the Ukrainian membership landscape. And so I'd love to start with that discussion, and hopefully you can give us a little bit of a few sneak peeks at what your findings are in the report. So Andrei, maybe just to kick off, for many years, Ukrainian media stayed away from reader revenue. And the last couple of years have really seen, the last year and a half have seen a sort of a big bang. You know, what did it look like and what triggered it?
Okay, hello everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the possibility to speak at such great conference and invite all journalists from all over the world to cooperate, to make something together. You can find my profile in LinkedIn or in Facebook, it's okay. So now let's go down to our case. for the last 6 months, I have been researching membership programs in Ukrainian media. I talked with 11 owners or top managers of Ukrainian independent newsrooms, and it's a really miracle, because only a year ago I hardly can find 3 media with membership programs. So really, this is a big bang. And why? You maybe can say that this is a coronavirus crisis. Yes, but not only. Back to 2019, I researched business models of Ukrainian media and find that almost all independent media in reality were depend on only 1 or 2 sources of income. So before the coronavirus, we understand that Ukrainian media business models are not sustainable, and they have to change something. This is not only coronavirus. This is like historical part of evolution of Ukrainian media. COVID-19, this is just put these questions squarely in front of other newsrooms. Either they changed or they have to close their work. And membership models now only an experiment, not like regular business practice. Ukrainian media just try to use this tool to find new source of revenue. And it suits not for all Ukrainian media, maybe only for a niche or for small online media. We have an exception. For example, Ukrainskaya Pravda or Liga. But mostly only small newsrooms use this tool.
Okay. So speaking of actually one of our exceptions, so you mentioned that for most of the media it was essentially a story of they were going along happy with advertising, other forms of revenue, and then COVID hit, and all of a sudden they had to scramble and come up with some solution, and many looked towards membership. I'd love to bring in Sergey. So the story of Ukrainska Pravda was a little bit different, right? So for you, you actually started thinking about it, preparing for the membership ahead of COVID, and then COVID happened just in time for the launch into. So can you maybe share a little bit about what was the trigger and what caused you to launch your membership model?
Thank you so much, Jakub. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to meet you guys. More than 70 participants who are interested in models, what's going on with readers' revenue in Ukraine. I'm happy with it. Okay, actually, I have a presentation. I will share some slides, not a full presentation because I think it's too big. But some slides are very interesting. It's like what was pre-membership revenue model. So you can see that it's direct sales, special projects, ads network, and also donor support. It was a situation like February 2020, so like 1 month before this lockdown situation. And what was a trigger? Actually, I started my research work at Reuters Institute in 2018, and it was dedicated to the question of how to rebuild trust in media. And together with my research, with my kind of head of my research group, it was Alan Rasbridger. we created this plan, and Club of Readers was a part of this plan, plan for building trust in Ukrainska Pravda. The second one was my research paper about business model, new business model of Ukrainska Pravda, and I also understood during this research work that it's impossible to have only like donor support or special project. We should add here like readers model. But of course, the part of story was COVID situation. I mean, the last year, when we faced with new challenges that something will go wrong, and we should have a kind of a pillow, and reader support will be a pillow for us during this crisis. So why we changed also in Ukraine, we have 3 models, like in rest of the world. So you can paid access to content. You go to the, sorry, I will change a slide. So paid access to content, crowdfunding or donations, or reader communities. And we changed the last one. And here, kind of description why. Ukrainska Pravda was founded in 2000, and it was a project against censorship in Ukraine. So we have a vision, uniting people, and we believe in power of feedback. So the answer for your question may be that a lot of challenges that Ukrainian media faced in Ukraine. But maybe Jakub, I will give a floor for you, and then if you will have a questions, guys, I will answer them.
Absolutely, and thanks for sharing this. So one thing that I wanted to ask specifically is the Ukrainska Pravda membership model stands out with the different tiers. So a lot of media have different tiers of membership. You know, one is $2, $5, $15, but for you, the different tiers are really very different concepts and very different relationship with the reader, with the members themselves. Could you maybe say a little bit about what are those tiers and what was the thinking behind them?
Yeah, absolutely. And also here will be my next slide. This is a kind of a solution for us. We have three levels of Club of Readers. We have a UPA Club, Toloka UPA, and Editors Club. And I will describe the difference between different models. So UPA Club is just $2 per month. So it's like a basic level. So if people want to support us, they can pay like coffee just to support their media. Next one level, I think it's unique, and it's one of the most interesting parts, and it, like for you maybe, for implementing, I mean, Toloka UPA. Toloka is like a Ukrainian part of tradition. That's why such a strange naming. But it's very common to Ukrainians, for all Ukrainians. And so what are the main reason? We have discounts and special bonuses from different UPA partners. Now we have more than 40 partners in different spheres. For example, we have books, we have Uber, for example, as a partner. So our readers who support us for example, for $5 per month, they can offer like different discounts from our partners, Ukrainian producers or international companies. So, and as I said before, we have now around 40 different partners, and it's actually, I think that this one was the most successful models in Ukrainian media. Because it's one of the most popular. It's actually number one for us, and we also have results that people used these discounts, these special bonuses. For example, one of the most successful our campaign was during New Year holidays, and our Jews partner, who was an Intertop, they offered more than 300 discounts for our readers, which you see it's a good option, I think. And the next one is Editors Club. all benefits from different memberships, but we have a private chat for discussion and regular offline events with the discussions on important social and political issues. So people want to support independent journalism, and people pay more than five or like $33 per year. They pay around they pay $125-$250, and we have in this club different businessmen for different spheres, diplomats, people from IT spheres. So and it's actually a discussion platform for different issues. For example, we had four meetings last year, and these meetings were dedicated climate change issues, demographic changes. Of course, it's a little bit challenging because we pushed this model before COVID and before lockdown, and now it's challenging because people can take part. We have a lockdown situation like in next 5 or 6 months, and it's you can understand me. We also have this meeting online, and a lot of people tired because of full offline meetings, but offline is still a very challenging condition. But I hope that situation will change next year, and we will have more offline events as well. So.
Okay. Certainly, we're all looking forward to the return of more offline events. Yeah, that's something to look forward to. Meanwhile, I'd love to ask about so Ukraine is I think a particularly challenging market to launch a membership in. And during the previous session, Pramesh mentioned, the difficulty of building relationships with younger audiences. Who is it? How are you seeing this? Who is kind of ready to pay for
what
the
is the
media,
solution?
and how are you? Yeah.
I think the solution is a building of culture of supporting media. We don't have this culture. We don't have a culture to pay for the content, and we just need to implement this new culture. And it's also one of the my main goal as editor-in-chief and as a media manager in our country. And also, I think that the main media who are implementing this model should organize, I think, like not a cartel, but maybe kind of a union just to support and push this position. I think only that part it will work. But I have a big hope that in 3 or 5 years we'll have a good solution for this, and we'll have growth in this sphere.
Well, that's great to hear. Andriy, during your study and your research on the different media, how did you see this across the other media that launched into membership? Where did they find the members, and what kind of how do they sort of grow the pie of reaching these people and convincing them, educating them, building this culture of membership?
Jakub, I think now my media are working with audience that they already have. And this is a really challenging problem for them, because what happens when this audience ends? I think this is a question for next year for Ukrainska Pravda and for others, because they need to expand their audience and already expand their membership programs. And I want to add something to Sergey said already about ways to expand membership in Ukraine in general. I think it's not only a culture problem, but also an economical problem, because if people are poor, they can't pay for their membership bill. And now we see that mostly men, mostly from Kiev, mostly IT specialists pay for membership. And this is a really problem because we have inequality, economical inequality between men and women, and between center and regions. And we have to change this situation. And this is a really good idea that Ukrainian media need of economic growth in Ukraine. And I hope they will help to make this growth faster in future. And our second task to make membership programs popular, not only in 24, 39 age of people, because we find that very young and very old Ukrainians almost don't pay for membership. So I think for all the oldest, this is maybe a Soviet problem, because in Soviet time they were not like copyright and price for content was really symbolic, and they just don't have such a habit to pay for content, even in form of club or in form of membership. And for young, I think this is a problem with news consumption. They find news in social webs, not in traditional media. So we need to make popular traditional media, not social fakes, you know.
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear that actually in Ukraine, in a certain way, it's the opposite of some of the cases that we saw, where the older audiences are not so ready to contribute, but on the other hand, we have younger audience who are ready to pay for content. The only problem is that their growth will be as fast as the IT outsourcing sector of the country is growing, right? There's a question in the chat to Sevgil.
Yeah, so this question.
Yeah, so basically what is the interest for the companies that are part of your Toloka tier of membership? Like, what do they get out of it by offering discounts to the members?
As I mentioned before, we started with our club of readers during this COVID crisis, and you know that it was a very challenging time for businesses in different spheres. So what is it? What is the interest? We have 1 billion readers per day, and as you can imagine, it's a new market for them, new customers, potential customers, and they have absolutely free advertising in our main page, the logotype or from different like a position. We publish several announcements with our partners, so it's kind of advertising campaign for them. From one point, and from another hand, it also was part of kind of that they have an access for for the audience of the biggest media in Ukraine. So that's why.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how basically the Toloka tier of membership is essentially bringing in yet another set of stakeholders, the companies and the businesses, and offering them something. Access to visibility amongst a premium audience, advertising campaign, as you say, and it's and everyone benefits. So as membership integrates lots of stakeholders, this one goes even further to bring in the businesses. I see that we're
sorry about that. Maybe I will also show you one more slide. It's like how it look like. Yeah, you can see. So it's our promo code, and you show the QR code at the bottom. And then you also can see a lot of partners and etc. So a solution as a technical solution, I think it's also important to share it with you. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, like, I think it's very important not to forget that membership, there is the relationship with the readers, that's important, but the technical solution needs to be there. Otherwise, you know, it's just word without the necessary substance. I see that we're slowly moving towards the end of our session. Ariel, will you be now wrapping up?
Yes, we do have we have a breakout still coming, so we do have to wrap this up, unfortunately. But Andrei's research that will go deep into detail on a lot of what you heard today will be published next week. So if you get the MPP newsletter, you will receive that research when it is published. And if Sevilla is open to sharing her slides, we can share those in the wrap-up email that goes out today. Thank you, Andrei, Sevilla, and Jakub for joining us today.